Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is James, and today we are going to be talking about first impressions. Now, in my previous video, I talked about first impressions, and I think I just said a word or two about it, and how it would relate to me talking in front of a camera. But now I want to talk about first impressions solely on actually social interactions.
Jesus Louis, it's so hot.
Now, before we start, I want to give a definition of my definition of first impressions, and what it basically is to me is how a person is able to control themselves as well as the interaction when they encounter someone new. The reason why I want to talk to impressions, basically, I found out there's actually two ways that you can approach impressions, and before you can start knowing two ways of this, and I believe everyone knows this already, when you're having a conversation with someone, no doubt, there is always someone in control. And now I'm not necessarily saying that either one person the whole conversation has a control, but it doesn't really matter because throughout the whole conversation, anyone can really control it. One way to show that basically is one approach of basically first impressions, and I'd like to call it the you impression. What the you impression to me is that when you meet someone new, you automatically establish the ground and automatically establish the mood by you talking first. Now, when you talk first, you get that control. With the you impression, you are able to establish the control in the beginning of a conversation, as well as you get to perform the you impression. Now, with the you impression, what comes with it is when people see you as that type of first impression, they see dominance. And with dominance, knowledge. With dominance, they see confidence, basically. It makes you seem like more of a confident person when you talk first in an interaction. And along with that confidence, they see you more as a comfortable person because you've already opened the floor and you've basically opened the relationship up between you and this new person that you just met. Plus, it's a double. 2 sauces in 1 packet. Two sauce in 1 packet. 2 sauce in 1 packet. You are able to control at the beginning of the conversation as well. You can maybe even control the whole conversation, and at the same time show yourself as a confident person, which is initially what a lot of people want to show in a conversation or when they meet someone new. Now, the good thing about this is that it actually gets you through a lot of social difficulties, and by that I mean it gets you through a whole lot of awkwardness, gets you through a whole lot of awkwardness. You take that whole you're not as nervous as you look when you perform conversations. People don't see you as something different. They see you more as that person that puts himself out there. I say that is because, like I said, you are the controller. Once you're able to control, once they see you as this type of person, this confident person, they get this very good impression of you. It says, hey, I like this person. This person's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And, there is examples of this. I have friends. They are these type of people. They are when they have the conversation, when they start a conversation with someone new, they're usually the ones to talk first. And they give that impression. And it's really good because every time I see them, literally, the next day I see them, there's always someone new that they've met, and there's always someone new that they talk to, and I hear about every time, like, dude, I just met you just yesterday, and now today you're telling me you have bajillion friends? And, it's also shown by adults and kids, basically, when adults talk over kids, and kids just are very intimidated. But adults, they have the control of the conversation. They're seen as confident people. Hey, Johnny. Hi. How is school? How is your papa? How is mommy? How's the girl? You got the girl? You know, girls, ooh, yeah, girls are very nice, you know. Girls, you have girlfriend? Oh, you have two? No? What? Oh, I'm going to tell your mother. I want to know. Then there's the other way of doing an impression. And that is basically what I call the them impression. With them impression, the premise of it is basically you let them talk first. That way you're able to establish a middle ground in which you can find a response with the same means with you guys. And it is very safe. It's a safe way of approaching a conversation. And it's also good if you're a listener. I have a lot of friends that are listeners, and usually they tend to have this type, and it's good because you're able to pick up verbal cues, nonverbal and verbal cues. That way, in which you can respond to in congruency. With this too, you can control the conversation later, and I mean this by you can pick up these things that you've learned from them. You can pick up these things that set a common ground between the two of you. That you're able to actually play around with it and then make use of it later in the conversation, in which in a way you can control it. You can take me as an example. I'm the type of person that uses a lot of them impression because I am not much of a social guy. I just find it safe, and you're able to keep the conversation going when it's safe because you're always able constantly to find a common ground between the two of you. You know, and you're not really searching for it. You don't really want to search for it. You don't really want to continuously search for approval with someone when you're making an impression, because that just really just kind of destroys it, because you're always looking for something like you're a golem. Precious. Precious. Anyways, that's it basically. Just want to share you about that. Actually, I met two groups. Last a couple weeks ago. One where I had to actually do the them impression, and the other where I had to do the you impression, which is really weird because it's not all the time that I resort to the you impression, because, like I said, I'm more much of the them impression guy. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and goodbye.